Hey everyone, welcome to today's tutorial. Today we are going to be working with the Little Lumberjack collection from Echo Park. We are going to be adding on the chipboard accents, the die cut pieces, and the coordinating cardstock. There is 6 pieces of cardstock in the coordinating solids paper pack. As you can see, they are a different color on each side and there's 2 of each type of paper. And then there is also a 12 by 12 sticker sheet in the collection kit. Okay, so we're just going to put that off to the side and go through the papers here. There are 3 journaling card type papers out of the possible 12 papers here. And today we are going to be making 4 pages and we are going to be using 6 sheets of pattern paper. So 2 accent papers along with 4 background papers. We are also going to be needing 3 different colors of cardstock, but we'll still only need 4 sheets of cardstock. Okay, so I'm going to first of all go through and eliminate all of the journaling boxes. We are going to embellish with them, and at the beginning I did consider maybe doing like a pocket page tutorial with this kit as well, just because we have a lot of outdoor like hunting pictures and things like that. So, but I'm not sure if I'm going to do that yet because I ended up with not as many different types of embellishments left over as I wanted. So here, first of all, I need an accent paper that is going to stand out against all of our other sheets, and I always like a plaid or multicolored piece, so I went ahead and picked this one, this checkered pattern here. And there is that other plaid type of paper there, but I just felt like this one had a little bit more white in it, so I went ahead and picked that one. So for our second accent paper, I like these 3 papers here I have on top. And I did consider using this fish one just because it's a completely different color, but what I didn't like about it was that it had fishes on it. I don't want this to be focused on fishing, so I went ahead and decided not to use that one as an accent paper. Now, these 2 accent papers have to look good together because they're going to be used on almost all of the pages together, so I went ahead with like a more of a white based background to go with my plaid or like checkered paper. And here I kind of really hemmed and hawed on what I wanted to do. There's a lot of directional paper in this paper pack, so which makes it a lot more difficult for pieces that you have to cut up a lot. So I really tried to look at the back sides of these paper as well, just to see how versatile the back side of it would be, because with directional paper sometimes when you cut up the papers, you'll get pieces that are going to work out because they're maybe square kind of thing, but then you might get some that might look crooked, like sideways or upside down on your page. So it helps that the back side of it is something that you can work with. Okay, so for my background papers, I like to usually do like 2 dark based backgrounds and 2 light based backgrounds. So here I went ahead and chose these 2 lighter based backgrounds. One has like sort of like a bunch of images in it. The other one has axes, and then the other 2, one is like a night sky scene that's with a black based background, and the other one has moose and trees on it with a black based background again. So for cardstock, we need 2 of one color, 1 of another color, and then 1 of another color again. So I'm going to go ahead with this brown color as my neutral, and that's going to be 2 pieces of cardstock. And then I have a red cardstock as an accent, and a black piece of cardstock as well. So that's what we went ahead and did for our papers this week. We have cutting diagrams in my tutorial videos, and I just kind of want to let you know how to read them. So there's the number in top in inches, and that's going to be the size that we're going to cut that cut piece into. And there's a number below it in a circle. So a lot of the times we're making 4 pages or 6 pages when we're using these cutting diagrams, and all these cut pieces can sort of get very disorganized. So that number inside of the circle there represents a pile that you're going to put that cut piece into. So for a 4-page tutorial, we're going to make 4 piles. And for a 6-page tutorial, we're going to make 6 piles. So the numbers are going to be either 1 through 4 or 1 through 6. So page 1 is going to have all the cut pieces that have a circle with the number 1 inside, and so on for the 4 or 6 pages. So now we're going to go ahead and take all pieces of our cardstock, and we are going to cut 1 inch in, 1 inch from the top, and 1 inch from the bottom. And we're going to make a straight line on all 4 sides of each of these pieces of cardstock. What we're basically doing is cutting a 10 by 10 inch square out of the center of this piece of cardstock. The border is going to be put into our pile, and the center, the 10 by 10 inch center, is going to be put to the side, and we're going to be cutting it with another cutting diagram as soon as we're done cutting out all of these squares. Now we're going to go ahead and cut the backgrounds for our pages. So we are going to be cutting the barcode strip off along with 1/2 inch, and then 1/2 inch on the other side. So we're going to be making an 11.5 inch by 11.5 inch square for all of our background papers. So sometimes I go ahead and rotate or change the layout, and as you can see here, the traditional style of laying out this layout is on the paper there, but I went ahead and sort of orientated it a little bit different. So I did my 3x4 photo as a horizontal instead of a vertical photo, and then I sort of based my cluster of photo areas at the bottom left corner instead of the top right corner. So for the cluster on the side of this 3x3 photo area, I started it with a base. The base of this is going to be a tree, so I directly adhered it to the page, but then the top of it, I popped it up. I wanted to put other elements in front of it, but I wanted it to stand off the page a little bit more, so I just popped up the top of it. And then I wanted to put a bear here, and I was just playing around with the different sizes of them. And I went ahead and put this sticker bear that says bear cub, and I popped it up, and then I put this chipboard red bear sort of behind it and off to the side just to give it a little bit of depth. And that's how I finished off that cluster there. And then along the top, I was playing around. I wanted to use this die cut that said go, see, and explore, and I thought that this 3x4 journaling card here made a great backdrop for it to layer behind it. To finish off this cluster, I went ahead and I popped up this little red checkered banner that has an arrow on it, and then popped up another red arrow on top of that die cut that says go, see, and explore. And then I just finished off this cluster area with some chipboard stars, and also I popped up a sticker star up in the top corner that's a little bit bigger. So I loved this brave banner, but I just felt like it blended into the background a little bit too much. And I mean, as you guys know, I really do like using strong patterns for my backgrounds and my pattern papers. And sometimes, you know, when we put our embellishments on, they can get a little bit lost in the background. But that's just my style and how I like to do it. So I went ahead and I took some spare piece of cardstock that we had from our cutting guide, and I directly adhered them to this cardstock. And now I'm just going to kind of cut around them and sort of just so that they have like this white frame around the edge. This way we're going to pop them up, and then when they're going to stand out more against our background. So what I wanted to do is use a banner on this page up along the top there, but I wasn't sure if I wanted to put something behind it. I wasn't sure how I wanted to anchor it. So I went ahead and just left the element on its own, but then on the sides, I decided to sort of cover up the edges of them so that they looked like they were attached to something. And when I looked at the embellishments I had left and sort of the theme of what I wanted my page to be, I decided to go with elements that were more circular or oval shaped. So I tried to incorporate as many of those as I could onto the page, and I kind of just randomly put them where I felt. And then, so at the bottom here, there's this Lumberjack die cut sort of scalloped border element, and then I just put a chipboard piece that says Wild and Free in the top corner there, and then I directly adhered down this red compass, and I popped up this bear in front of it, and just to give it some layering. And then we finished off the page on the left hand side of that 4x6 photo area. I put another circle that says Little Lumberjack along with a little saw and some arrows, and I also put an axe in. I did originally put that tree stump in the center, and if it was all by itself, it sort of felt out of place. It didn't really fill that area nicely. I feel like it broke up the page and some of the elements. I preferred the embellishments just being around the photos and then sort of drawing your eye back towards the center. I feel like the tree stump would have taken away from the photos once the photos were put on. So the theming for this whole kit is, for my pictures anyways, it's about my family when they go hunting, and also a few of the pages are going to be used for this in the springtime when my hubby takes the kids out and they go get some firewood for the next winter season. Okay, so for our final page here, as you can see, the background is super busy. So what I went ahead and did here is I took the back side of a 3x4 journaling card that I didn't want, and I'm using it. I'm kind of making it offset too from the patterning on the border, and I'm using it as a background just to create a little bit more of a solid area so that when I place the moose on top of it, it stands out a little bit better. The back side of that 3x4 journaling card also is similar in patterning to this Wild and Free journaling card here. Even though you can't really see much of it, it still does add a little touch of similarity to that embellishment cluster to the other. As you guys have noticed on these pages, I really didn't leave any areas for journaling. If you do want to journal with these pages, you could easily replace where I put a 3x4 journaling card and put an area there for journaling instead. The reason why I just didn't leave any areas for journaling is because the pictures that I have chosen for these layouts, I'm not in them. Like, I wasn't there with my kids or my husband. And I just find that a lot of times, sometimes with these kind of pages, they're self-explanatory. Maybe I'll put a location in, or I'll put the date in, just to add another little touch to it. But those don't necessarily need their own journaling area. Sometimes those can go along a photo area, or even sit on top of a photo. And I'll just put those in later. I find sometimes when my husband takes the kids out, or if their page is more about him and his friends, I'll ask him, you know, do you have any journaling, or do you have anything that you would want to say to go with these pictures? And, you know, in this case, when he's getting firewood with the kids, he'd be like, I don't know, we were just getting firewood. So he wouldn't really have any cool stories. I mean, once in a while he will, but sometimes they're just going out there to get things done, and there isn't any sort of memorable moments, I guess. But it's still nice to take the pictures, and sometimes he'll Snapchat me pictures of the kids hauling wood, or doing various things. So I'll get a collection of photos, I guess, from the event, but there's not really a lot of a story to tell with it. So that's kind of why I don't journal everything or have journaling spaces on all of my pages. But you could easily improvise and create your own, even take a 3x3 photo area and improvise that. So thank you guys so much for watching this week, and we will see you next Friday with another video. Have a great weekend.